Welcome to all of you out there, astrology friends. Welcome to this video that is all about December, the monthly horoscope of December of 2024. I can't believe it that it's going so quickly. But let's delve into this, because this video, of course, you can watch it with my other videos, which are the weeklies, which are the the Mars retrograde that I've been doing. And it all kind of knits together. So the November horoscopes, and this is the December horoscope. Now, of course, December is important when it comes to the retrograde of Mars, but let's delve into this. I'm going to talk about that Mars retrograde. I'm going to talk about Mercury going direct and the Jupiter square Saturn. These are like the most significant things of December. And of course, I'm going to delve a little bit more into the 12 signs and have a look at where these planets are being activated in your personal chart. And of course, if you want a reading, check out the link below. You can find everything on my website. Now, let's get started. Jupiter square Saturn is foremost, you could say, a very important thing of the year. Two big planets clashing, basically. And this time this year, it is on the 24th to 25th of December that we're going to have around Christmas Eve, Jupiter square Saturn. Jupiter in Gemini at 14 degrees, squaring Saturn in Pisces at 14 degrees. In a nutshell, this is the fight or the balance that need to be found between expansion and stability. Between novelty, Jupiter in Gemini, interested in expansion and seeing it, in all kinds of ways, and Saturn in Pisces that wants to remain emotionally stable, but also that wants to hold the things that are working and to not change that. So stability and expansion, we're gonna feel that in a part of our lives where Jupiter is, we want to expand, but we are feeling as if we are being restricted where the Saturn is in our chart. Of course, this is a feeling. This is on an unconscious or conscious level, of course, that this is not the time yet. It's time to expand, but very slowly. Then we're going to have a look where Mars goes retrograde. Around at about the 7th of December, Mars will be then at 6 degrees of Leo, and so to speak, it goes backwards. So 6 degrees, 5 degrees, 3 degrees, 2 degrees, and so on in the sign of Leo. And at the very end of the month, you could say, it's preparing itself again for the Mars-Pluto opposition. But actually, it's at the very end and the beginning of January. So we're not going to feel the whole month is Mars-Pluto anymore. But what we're going to feel is that where Mars is in the sign of Leo in our chart, that things are reassessed, that things need to be reviewed. And no one likes that. Now, actually, I think, considering the timing, the last month of the year, this is better that this is happening at the last month of the year than it is like in the midst or in the beginning of next year, because then you want things to go forwards. So actually, with the context of this month of December, where not everyone, some people, especially if you have your own business and like, for instance, in the perfume industry or in the jewelry industry, you're probably doing 2 shifts in December. But most people, they want to slow down. And with Mars going retrograde, it's not so much about slowing down, but it's reviewing your actions and kind of reassessing what you're going to do and how you're going to do it. And of course, Leo is about the heart. So a lot of people, and Mars in Leo, in a good way, it wants to do what it wants to do, and it's very fiery, and it wants to go forward, and it wants to be seen. But in, you could say, the challenging way of Leo is ego, I'm not going to do that because, Leo is a bit like, And so we want to watch out for that. that our ego is not getting in the mixture of all of this, or are we going to end up in power struggles in the beginning of January? And you don't want that, the power struggles of I want black, you want white. So you want to do that in a very strategic way. Remember, Mars opposite Pluto is all about the strategy and being rational and being, looking at every single step and what is best. Now, so the Mars retrograde, we can definitely use it in reviewing our actions, in kind of pondering, and also looking at how we are going to do things differently. And especially where we feel kind of hit in the heart, so to speak, that prideness. So to examine that, it's going to be very, very important. Actually, to make it even more juicy, and because Mars is going to oppose Venus around at about the 12th and the 13th of December, this is a lot going around relationships, right? Venus is going to be in Aquarius at 6 degrees, and it's going to oppose Mars at 6 degrees of Leo, a retrograde Mars, that is, right? So there's a lot about relationship. There's a lot about the give and the take when Venus and Mars are in a tension aspect, and it's about relationships. It's about the refining the balance of give and take. So we will do a lot of rebalancing of relationships. And for some of you, this is going to be on your side, that you have to be a little bit less taking from others. And for others, it will be that they have to be a little bit less that people take from them, to set a little bit more that boundary of here is the line, and I draw the line here and no more. So it depends on your situation. It depends on the kind of relationship we are referring to here. But there is a rebalance here for sure. And then we're having Mercury going direct, which is a good thing. Yes, Mercury is in Sagittarius, and it's going on the 16th of December. It's going direct at 6 degrees of Sagittarius, okay? And it will stay the rest in Sagittarius for the rest of the month. But of course, that Mercury, whilst it is in that Sagittarius, and it goes direct now after the 16th, and we know what we want, and we know our truths, and we think that we know our truths. But now we have new information. When Mercury goes direct, we know that we have new information, and it's going to bump in again to that Saturn-Jupiter square. So it's like Mercury, it wants to tell the truth, and it wants to overdo it by opposing Jupiter. But first it squares to Saturn. Well, it's almost simultaneously. So it squares to Saturn, which means very serious conversations, but at the same time, we want to go over the top with our conversation. So again, it's like, hold your horses with the words. So yes, you might be having, you might say the truth, and Mercury in Sagittarius wants to say the truth and the whole truth and nothing but the truth, but having that mindset of being open for other people's opinion and listening as well and having respect, I think that's the thing that it's going to do. But again, saying your own truth as well. So in the way, the way that we're going to do this is so important, because we call that a T-square, that tension that I was starting with the Jupiter square Saturn. It's going to be activated by Mercury. So this is about the mind and the words that we use and the vision that we have. So in a nutshell, have a vision, absolutely, but be realistic, stay practical and stay humble, right? Which is Saturn. And you will be well. So a bit of a month of going forwards and backwards and whatnot, but I think all in all, it suits the season for sure. And let's have a look at the 12 signs very shortly, where this energy of the retrogrades and the directions, Mercury going direct, Mars going retrograde, and that Jupiter Saturn, where that is very shortly. You can see this video with the other videos. Aries, this Mars is in your 5th house, so you are reviewing your heart. Mars is your ruler, of course. So you are pausing and you are pausing and demanding yourself, like, or reassessing how you act when it comes to your heart, how you act when it comes to love, how you act when it comes to the relationship with your children, how you act when it comes to your hobbies. Are you doing too much, too little, whatever? And you want your heart to speak, but how can you do that in a different way so that when Mars goes direct again in that sign, that you can open up your heart and that you can, enjoy life to the fullest. It can also mean when you have children that they are going through some changes there as well. But all in all, see it as a reassessing of your heart chakra for sure. With the Mercury going direct now in the 9th house, you have better view. Certainly after the 16th of December, you see things better in perspective. But just don't go over the top, right? That Jupiter and Saturn, Jupiter in the 3rd, Saturn in the 12th, shows that your mind can go really broad. Absolutely. With Jupiter in the 3rd, it's good for you can now go to short trips and you can expand on that level. But with Saturn in the 12th, it is like, make sure that you have your ducks in a row. Make sure that you've got everything sorted out, and especially what is unconscious and what is bugging you, that you have some structure there, that you're not acting out of the unconscious. And, they are told, the Aries people, that they are very reactive. Well, now there is like this fine tuning of that balance that you're going to find for sure. But all in all, I think key here is for you. You have that new information, you have that new view, and you can enjoy life better. Let's put it that way. This is all about you enjoying life better once Mars will go direct. That's not for December, but it's coming. Taurians, this Mars is in your 4th house, which is the core of your chart. This is about your home life. This is about your home, literally, your family life. There's something that needs to be done in a different way, and you are reassessing this. And Mercury in the 8th house is a bit that is going direct, can give you new information around the money that you share with an important person, like your spouse, your girlfriend, boyfriend, business partner. There is new information that things go forwards when it comes to investment that you share with someone else. There is communication there and deep understanding of your psychological psyche as well. Now, Jupiter square Saturn is you want to grow when it comes to your confidence, where Jupiter is, but at the same time, your goals and also your friend circle could hold you down, which is Saturn in the 11th house. Or there could be friends showing you the reality of life. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, but keep in mind that yes, you can grow, but slowly but surely. And again, it's about a redoing of you being very active to gain trust in life. Mars in the 4th house is working hard for your emotional well-being, not just your emotional security like money or having a house, but about security on a level of your emotions, and that you are fathering or mothering thyself and you're looking within. Geminis, this Mars retrograde is in your 3rd house. So you really are rethinking everything that has to do with your communication. That could mean that other people start around you, like siblings, like the 3rd house is your siblings, your neighbors, that something shifts. There is like a going back to an old situation, a reassessing of the situation, and that is a good thing. But remember, the heart is, because it's in Leo, right? Make sure that you're not falling for your ego, so to speak. And you will probably see that they or the people that you communicate with in your environment and so on have a bit of the same challenge. So, but what is going to help you is your partner. Mercury goes direct in your 7th house, which means that there comes communication from your partner. If you don't have a partner, it's a business partner or it's someone that is really important for you now, that will help you with clarify certain things. Because you want to expand and you want to grow, Jupiter in your 1st house. But it squares up to the 10th house, which means that there are practical stuff that need to be done for your work, for your business, or when it comes to your social status, right? There are some things there that you cannot just do and that you have to take into account. But all in all, a new way of communicating for you, a far more heart communication, so to speak. And when you have your own business, for instance, this could mean like you are going back to an old website, you are redoing the website, you are upgrading the website, or making a short trip, you go back to a country that you already went, or going back to a study, or teaching again. I say again because it's the Mars retrograde. So very mindful month for you. Cancerians, this is Mars retrograde in your second house. So you are reassessing your worth, your self-worth. What is your value? What do you want to have as value? All of this is reconsidered. Actually, the second house is also your money. So the money that you work for, the money that and the possessions that you have, you could be a redoing here, a redoing of your finances to make it better. So it could mean that an issue comes up here, but whatever it is, work on it, reassess it, look at it from another view, go to an accountant if you want some financial advice, do it in a new way, because when Mars goes direct, and that is a bit later on next year, then you will find what you need to do to shift this and to become stronger and to become feeling more valued and you valuing you. Now, it's not about the value that comes from other people. It's about you. You are re-examining it and saying to yourself, do I value myself? If no, why? What can I do here? Mercury goes direct in your sixth house. So this is the house of work and of health. So it could mean that health-wise, now, if you had some issues before, on the 16th of December, things go forwards for you. Also, when it comes to work, you could have a new contract with work, a new communications coming up that relate to your work as well. You want to grow spiritually with Jupiter in your 12th house. You want to grow in knowing your blind spots, but at the same time, your belief system says to yourself with Saturn in the 9th, keep practical, be practical here. So there is a little bit of tension, yes, but I think the most important thing for you is that you are working on the love for the self. And again, it can mean that you love yourself too much. You have to be a bit more, how do you say that, humble. But I think mostly Cancerians, they kind of underestimate themselves. And then it's about, even if you say a certain quality or a certain talent that you don't have, how can I work on that? How can I make that happen? So it's a lot about you. Leos, this is a very, very important time for you, especially if you have planets around 6 degrees of Leos, because you are being reassessed here. And I mean, with you, it's everything. It's your life path. The ascendant is everything. Your life path, your relationships, your how you appear, your physique, everything you are now questioning, reassessing, which is a good thing. So this is about you that can think about, especially with others, because this is about relationships as well, where you are going to rethink the actions before that you've done. Not in a way that, oh, you don't want to pursue them anymore, the new actions, for instance. No, you just want to have a look if they are working for you or not. So you are going to come with a new way of how you present yourself anyways. And you are preparing something. There could be a new relationship, a new job, a new way of how you show yourself to the world. And with the Mercury direct in your 5th house in Sagittarius, you're going to have some information around your heart chakra, around how you love to do things or not. It's about what you love to do. It's about your hobbies. It's about you getting back to something that you always loved to do as a child. It can also mean your children. You're recommunicating with them. You're reconnecting with a project or something that you've always wanted to do. Now, you want to expand your goals in your future for sure, even your friendships with Jupiter in the 11th. But the 8th house is holding you back, which is the fear of intimacy, Saturn in your 8th house. So that could be a bit of a struggle there. Like, yeah, I want to meet new people, but at the same time, I'm scared. I don't want to be vulnerable here. And it's that balance about not being vulnerable to everybody, but finding that discernment there is what this is all about. But all in all, you're preparing a new you. A new you is coming, whether you like it or not. And I think you're going to like it. Virgos, Mars in the 12th house. That is a bit of a challenge there. Why? Because Virgos want to do, right? And they're, normally when Mars is in Leo, then Mars comes into Virgo and Virgo can do new stuff. But this is now not the case. Mars in the 12th house can be really a lot of sleepless nights for the Virgos because a lot is happening in the unconscious. It's a subconscious house. It's a hidden house. And when Mars is there, it wants to do all kinds of things. It wants to kind of stir it up a little bit so that the old patterns, that you get rid of them and that you tackle them. So old patterns can be brought up here with Mars in the 12th house. Now, in a very positive way, Mars in the 12th house is doing a lot for people who are in need, doing a lot of volunteers work, for instance, doing a lot behind the scenes, working a lot behind the scenes from the heart, right? But you are reassessing how you're doing that or not doing that. Mars in the 12th house is you kind of step back towards, hey, my blind spots. What is it that I always do and that is not good for me? Where I kind of sabotage myself, right? Where is this? So it's really an investigation for you and a reassessment investigation behind the scenes as a Sherlock Holmes with a loop is looking at what is not working here in my subconscious. And with Mercury direct in your 4th house, it seems that when it comes to your emotional well-being, you understand things better. You know where you're coming from. You could be literally going back to your home country. And you could be really understanding better what's going on at home, what's going on with your emotions, or even doing something with the home, literally like contracts or selling or buying, belling and selling. Buying and selling, I mean. You want to expand when it comes to your work and career and your social status, Jupiter in the 10th. But Saturn in the 7th is holding you a little bit back. So it could mean that a partner is actually a bit more critical towards you or is not really seeing what you're seeing the expansion for. Now, whatever it is, this is about balancing things out. It's not about they are bad, you are good, or the other way around. It's about balancing these two energies out. But all in all, this is a delve into the unconscious. And I think Virgos like that because they want to know their blind spots for sure. Librans, Mars retrograde in the 11th house is you are reassessing your goals. You are reassessing your friends. Or a friend could do something in a different way. Or there could be some discussions and there could be some liveliness in the friendship sector, or you trying to do things differently. Either you go back towards where you were within a year or so ago. Let's say you used to be on Facebook, you were off Facebook, now you're going to get back to Facebook. Or the other way around. You used to be on Facebook and now Mars goes retrograde and you're saying, should I really not delete that account? That kind of energy. The same with friendships and the same with goals. So it's a good time for you to question your goals and how you're going to apply. Don't forget that the 11th house is a financial house for those of you who have a business. So it's the second house from the 10th house. So there could be some different things that you're doing with your job to have better income from the business that you're doing. And Mercury goes direct in your third house. I like that, especially if you have your own business. This means like things are going forwards, the media is going forwards, or you have done just a new website and a lot of communication, a lot of emails, things become clear. You can travel, you can do short trips, you can learn, you can teach, and all of that. So your mindset is growing with Jupiter in the ninth, but Saturn in the sixth is holding you back, which can be work and maybe health as well, that you want to do so much or you can only do so much. So make sure that you have structures. Saturn is in the sixth. It wants to have structures. It wants to have discipline in your day-to-day life. The more you do, you honor that, the more you will expand when it comes to your connection with the divine, when it comes to your belief system, with a positive belief system, with a belief system that you are so feeling connected that you can make things happen in your life. Scorpios, this Mars, which is your ancient ruler, is at the top of your chart and it's going backwards. So for a lot of you Scorpios, maybe you are working and you're saying, is this the work I like to do? Is this something that I want to keep doing? So it's that questioning of career for sure. Can also mean questioning the connection with a parent, that you want to do this differently, that there are some struggles there with Mars going backwards and forwards in that 10th house. Also your status, that you are reassessing your status. Do you want to be single forever? Do you want to be married forever? Or do you want to have a divorce? Or what? All these important topics are at the front of your mind. But for most of you, this is about career. This is about you rethinking some sort of a tactic or an action that you can do that is going to be better for you when Mars goes direct next year. Mercury goes direct in your second house, which is good, which means on a money level, it can improve. On the level of your finances, on the level of your worth, that you feel that you're getting more value out of your work and out also of how you present yourself to the world, and that you feel that you belong and that you have upgraded your values. Now, as much as you want to grow and transform with Jupiter in your 8th house, it squares up to Saturn in the 5th. So it's almost like this could be issues around love, around sexuality and intimacy, that there's still like this, like, yeah, I want to grow and I want to have intimacy, but at the same time, do I want to be vulnerable? So there is a bit of a challenge there for sure. Whatever it is, you can work this out with understanding why the limits that are there at that particular moment, whether they are practical, whether it is about a connection, whether it is about your connection with your children, Saturn in the 5th house, or with your heart chakra, that you're a bit afraid to show your heart and why that is. Expect that and investigate so that you can grow on a deep psychological level. Sagittarians, you're going to have your new moon on the 1st of December at 9 degrees of Sag. So here, this is a new beginning for a lot of you Saggies out there, and happy birthday for those of you who have a birthday in December. But this Mars retrograde is in your 9th house, which is in a way not the ugliest, because it's in a fellow fire sign. Although Mars in the 9th, which is for some of you, it could mean that you're going to do something different. You're going to reassess something that has to do with religion, not religion, but with the divine, how you feel connected with all there is, but also with justice, right? There could be an issue there that you have to review, that you have to reassess. And, but, it trines your energy. So all will be well, but it's about reassessing how you are going to put out your actions. And also because Mercury goes now direct on the 16th in your sign, this means that you're going to be way clearer about what you've said. And you remember, for you in the beginning, it's the introduction is also very important, because it's about that truthfulness and not going over the top and staying practical. So follow your integrity, dear Sagittarians. You are known as being wiseacres, and the thing is that you probably mostly are correct. right? But you don't want it to be like a game that, hey, I'm right and you're wrong. Just follow that integrity. And that makes you a very wise person. And that makes you a person who is willing to connect by your communication, but doing that in a very practical way as well. Saturn is in your 4th house of your emotional well-being. So there is a maturation going on with your emotions. You being emotionally you are being invited to be emotionally very mature, and there's nothing wrong with that. Now it's kind of squares up with Jupiter in the 7th house, so there could be people or others that are that you are involved with and that you want to grow with. And you want to have that growth and expansion a bit too much, because Jupiter is you and you are in that 7th house of growth with other people. So that could be a new relationship or it could be an existing one and you wanted to get that upgrade. But remember, Saturn in the 4th is kind of like, check it out. Do I have my ducks in a row? Do I have the practical stuff? And I have to respect that practical stuff. That could be documents. It could be also things that you need to let go of, because it's in Pisces that is out of your control, but you do what you've got to do and follow the steps as you have to do them. It can also mean considering home, literally your home. Aquarius. And this is a different angle. So sorry about that. When I came to Capricorn, the sound was weird and I thought, I'm going to do it again for you, dear Capris. So let's have a look at what December is all about for Capricorn. So this Mars retrograde in Leo is in your 8th house. Now, this is a big one because this is a lot about transformation. This is about you redoing something when it comes to 8th house stuff. Now, 8th house stuff, first of all, is finances. So it's a good time for you to redo or reassess or put your energy towards things like getting a tax return, hopefully for you, hopefully, getting some investments back, getting some sorted out loans, getting some money sorted out when it comes to money that comes from other people, and that will come to you. So definitely a very financial reassessing, but with the money of other people. Often this can also mean an inheritance that is coming back to you, or you might have to do some effort to sort things out. That could be that as well. Now, on a totally different level, because it's not always money, on a totally different level, this is about you understanding yourself better. It's the occult house. It's the house of deep astrological insights. Not astrological, but psychological insights via astrology, via another occult kind of teaching. So it's a very, very good time for you to go back to those metaphysical studies that you might have done in the past and to pick that up again. But whatever it is, there is something here going on that is reviewed. And again, you know, as for a lot, it is money or resources that you share with other people. This could also have to do with real estate, that you are dealing with documents and whatnot, so that you can make it your own. Now, on another level, Mercury goes direct for you, which is in the 12th house, and which is now good for you, because normally having Mercury in the 12th house is a bit confusing. And but when it goes direct, it means that clarity comes back and that you understand your dreams better, that you understand the unconscious better. So it's a very deep month for you, because the 8th house is a deep house, the 12th house is a deep house and a hidden house as well. So Mercury going direct again in that house of the unconscious can mean that you tackle something around your own character that you understand now. And that's a good thing because it makes you stronger. And if you understand your own blind spots, it makes you someone who can deal better with making better choices for yourself as well. So things can be found again. So maybe you had lost or you were lost some items, and now they can be found again with Mercury going direct in your 12th house. And definitely also it can mean that you think a lot about patterns from the past that were no longer suiting you, that were a bit of a avoidance attitude, and that you want to stop that. Now, there's Jupiter-Saturn square Jupiter in Gemini in your 6th house that wants to expand, which is your work, which is your health. You want to improve it. You want to have better and more purposeful work. That clashes with Saturn in your 3rd house of the mind. So actually what's standing in your way here is your own thoughts. So be mindful that you're not too, you could say, rigid in your thinking, that you're not too narrow-minded in your thinking, so that you can make those plans for expansion and for more purposeful work and for growth in your health. And because, you know, your health, your wealth is in your health, they say. So definitely the Saturn in the 3rd house could mean, like, yes, be practical. Yes, know what you want and what you don't want and what you communicate, but don't be too scarcity. Don't be having too much of a scarcity mindset. That's basically it. So keep it practical. It's a good time to learn here still, to learn skills, to kind of mature up your relationships with siblings and with neighbors and all of that. But mind you that the purpose is here definitely of transforming, you know, with that Mars in your 8th house. Aries, the 7th house, Mars retrograde. If you are in a relationship, the person that you are with could like step back and reassess their actions. Now, it could also mean someone coming back from the past, and it's in a way they're acting different. But whatever it is, it means that you're having here quite a strong opponent. And with Mars going retrograde, it might seem as they are going back towards the old way and getting into their shells and not saying anything or doing anything. But it's nothing further from the truth. So make sure that, again, you follow your integrity, you're being honest, and you listen what they're saying. Also what they're not saying, because not acting is also an action, right? So definitely with quarrels and with, you know, you could say the 7th house is the house of enemies, the open enemies. So this is about a person that you know, right? It's not like a hidden enemy that comes out of the blue. It can also be a love relationship. And there is a difference in dynamics here. And just make sure that they are not overpowering you and that you are not doing that to them either. So always make sure, cooperate. Try to cooperate is the best thing with Mars in the 7th house anyways, whether it goes retrograde or not. It's demanded from you. And I think Aquarians are very good at that because they, you know, they want to have the logic and the rationality as well. Now, this Mercury goes direct in your 11th house. So it can mean that your goals are becoming clearer for you, that communications, friends coming back into your life that you haven't seen for a long time. So this is a rather nice Mercury there in Sagittarius going direct for you. Also goals, things are now going forwards. But there is this tension between the growth of your love, the love department, or Jupiter in that 5th house, which is the growth of how you enjoy yourself, how you do projects, the connection with your children. You want growth there. But at the same time, Saturn is in your 2nd house, which can mean literally money. So it costs you money to do all of these things. So find the balance there between how you enjoy yourself and the financial stuff, so to speak. But also, like for instance, a new relationship. Make sure that if you want to expand with this new relationship, that you're values are not being burned up here, right? So that you respect your own values. Pisceans, you're having Mars in the 6th house. So the 6th house is a very busy house of your day-to-day life, your day-to-day work, your day-to-day routines, your health. So there's something here that you are reviewing. Now, on a health level, it could mean that you want to do something different to improve your health. And this relates to, when it comes to emotional well-being, that you're doing things from the heart. This is Mars and Leo anyways. And that you're doing something that is good for cardio, or that is good for you having an open heart and dealing with work on a daily basis that you love to do from the heart, right? That is not so soul wrecking. So this Mars going retrograde can also mean that you're going to investigate if you still want to work where you're working. On another level, you could go back to a work that you've done before with this Mars retrograde. But whatever it is, reinvestigate your health, reinvestigate some routines that you've been doing. You might do them wrong, and here is a correction actually, which is not the nicest thing to do, and especially Pisceans, they don't like to be so busy with routines and whatnot, but it's going to help you in the long run and in the future. Mercury goes direct in your 10th house, so you could be having communication around work, around new projects there, and also around a connection with a parent. If there has been some quarrels there or some challenging things are getting solved here, and you can communicate. Also contracts now, after the 16th of December, you can sign them now. Mercury goes direct and you have more clarity, right? Jupiter squares Saturn, though. Jupiter is your ruler, which is you. So you're getting squared by Saturn in your 1st house and Jupiter in the 4th. So notwithstanding the fact you're growing when it comes to your emotional well-being, when it comes to the place of living that you want to do, there is growth and expansion going on. But at the same time, there is fear. Saturn in your 1st house. There is some fear involved here of you not want to grow, you wanting to be smaller than you are. So be aware of that you're not standing in your own way, and that you're doing this gradually but surely, with little steps but sure steps towards the expansion that is up for you out there with your ruler there in Gemini, for expansion of emotional well-being and safety, and you want to go for that for sure. Anyway, having said that, thank you so much for your time, and I wish you the best December. Have a good month. Bye-bye.